Hello, welcome to Statecraft IAS and Social Perspectives Sociology in Newspaper series. In this series, we shall discuss daily news articles in sociological perspective and revise relevant sociology related UPSC mains concepts with the help of newspaper on daily basis. In today's video, we have an article in the main page saying Reign of Terror is never permanent according to Prime Minister Narendra Modi. He says Somnath temple is the best example and an assurance. Now in this article, Prime Minister has said said this statement in philosophical perspective. That means he says faith cannot be suppressed for too long. He said democracy cannot be suppressed for too long, or humanity can be suppressed for too long. He said primarily in philosophical or ethical perspective. But if we try to analyze in social perspective, why terrorism or why reign of terror cannot last for too long, why reign of terror is not permanent in social perspective? Because we have Talcott Parsons' agile functional prerequisites for any system to sustain for too long. He says economic system will undergo adaptation to the existing needs, generation and acquisition of resources from outside the system to affect its distributions in the system is the primary task of economic system. Now if in the reign of terror, if people are not supporting the reign, if people are not in support of rulers, then how can this generation and acquisition of resources happen? Many people may be there who are not interested in working and who are not interested in distribution of those acquired resources within the system. So that generation and acquisition of resources and its subsequent distribution will get affected in the long term when the people are not in support of the ruler, and that's why in the economic aspect, in the economic system may fail, and thus reign of terror may not sustain too long. If we look into political system mainly survives on the concept of goal attainment. It is the main task of political system. It determines its goals, it motivates the members of the system to attain these goals, and it mobilizes the members and their energies for the achievement of these goals. Now here also Taliban have certain goals, and they have attained their goals, they have determined them, they have motivated their members for them, and they have mobilized their members to reach those goals. Hence they acquired power. However, acquiring power is one thing and sustaining that power is other critical aspect. To sustain that power, they may not merely need to motivate their own members, but also they need to motivate the members of the entire social system, entire society. They need to motivate and mobilize those entire members. They have to convince the members of society in regard to their goals. When the people are not in support of Taliban and are not in support of their rulers, that convincing may not happen regarding their goals. We can see that Taliban leaders have certain goals like women must be subjected to oppression, women must not go out of four walls, women must wear hijab all the time. All these are the goals of Taliban. Now when people are not in support of those goals, that determining the goals itself has failed, then how can they mobilize and motivate the members of the society to reach those goals? Hence political system may fail in the long term, and Taliban or rule of terror may not sustain for long in social perspective. On the other hand, a cultural system, what it does is it maintains coherence, solidarity and coordination by cultures and values. It has some certain cultures and values, and these cultures and values are seeped into the personality system, are transferred to the personality system, and by gaining wide acceptance, this cultural system plays its role in terms of coherence and solidarity in the society. Now when these cultures and values itself are not acceptable to the society, how can it result in solidarity and coherence and coordination in the society? Hence Taliban have some cultural values, they are not acceptable to the society. Hence cultural system itself fails in the long term. Hence reign of terror will not last long. Finally, coming to social system, the task of social system is primarily to maintain latency. That means it maintains tension management within the system. Now there has emerged a tension in the system. That means reign of terror or reign of Taliban, rule of Taliban itself is tension. Society manages this tension. and socialization process happens among the members of the system. Now when the members of the system themselves do not want to get socialized within them or with the Taliban, then that socialization process itself fails, because motivational orientation to get socialized is not there in Talcott Parsons' perspective if we talk. So this socialization process itself fails, and the social system in turn fails in maintaining latency or tension management in the system. That's why reign of terror is not permanent in social perspective if we try to analyze that particular aspect in Talcott Parsons' perspective. Further, if we try to analyze in Hegelian dialectics, Hegel talks about Zeitgeist, that means the spirit of the age. He says the development of the intellectual life of the mind or spirit results in the primary manifestation of development of humanity. That means for Hegel, development of mind itself is the development of society. The potential of humanity will only be fully developed when they are truly free, which means free of all circumstantial inhibitions. See, here in this particular Taliban rule, people are not free of circumstantial inhibitions. They are bound by some certain rules which are not acceptable to them. So they are not free in nature. So the potential of humanity cannot be fully realized under the Taliban rule. So when the potential of humanity itself is not realized, how can that society sustain for so long, and how can that humanity exist in that particular society? So humanity cannot exist in that society, and where that humanity is suppressed for too long, that society itself fails, because for Hegel, society is nothing but development of free mind. True nature of history and human existence is to be understood in terms of development of thought or of ideas. See, here also ideas and thoughts have developed so much from the times of Islam or from the times of the writing of Sharia. This Sharia rules or Sharia laws have been written long ago. From that time to now, there was so much development of thought and ideas, and so those thoughts or ideas which have developed today are new and very modern when compared to the Sharia laws. So ruling some country or ruling some society based on those laws which have become outdated is not practical in nature, because today's society lives upon today's ideas, not upon yesterday's ideas. So today's society always tries to reject those ideas and thoughts which are not in consonance with today's reality. Hence, there always existed some kind of opposition to the Taliban rule or Sharia's ideas, etc. So that today's society cannot live as per that Taliban cultures and values in Hegel's perspective also. Moreover, this is a kind of revolution that has happened in Afghanistan, Taliban overpowering democratic government and establishing its own rule. So in James Davis' perspective, if we try to analyze revolution, James Davis says why revolution happens, people will have some aspirations. Now with this raising standards of living, these aspirations also raise. Now when the actual reality is not according to their aspirations, then there emerges opposition, and this will lead to revolution, says James Davis. So that's why in James Davis aspect, if we try to see today's situation in Afghanistan, that means Taliban's rule is highly conducive for another revolution to take place, because under the democratic government or democratic rule, aspirations of people of Afghanistan have risen so far, so high. Now they are slowly trying to realize that under the Taliban rule, their aspirations cannot be met, and hence they will tend to go for revolution against the existing Taliban regime. So another revolution is likely to take place in social perspective if we see, particularly if we try to account for James Davis theories. So moving on to the next article, here it says, in battleground Uttar Pradesh, a churn in Dalit politics. Now this article talks about Uttar Pradesh politics, and it says the marginalized are ready for the share in developmental opportunities which the BJP has recognized. Going into the contents of the article, the marginalized need empowerment in real sense beyond ideologies and political positioning. They are ready to receive their share in developmental opportunities, be it in the form of support from the right, left or center. So they are not highly particular about their ideologies or their caste reservations. They just want development, and if development comes from wherever the corner or from right or left or center ideology, they are ready to take it. That's what the author says. Now this particular observation is against Andre Bataille's study on caste system. What Andre Bataille says is that it is due to politics caste consciousness is still existing in society. If not for politics, caste would have died in the society, he says. But here in this particular example, it is politics which is erasing the caste consciousness in the society. It is this very own politics, because this politics have now realigned its strategy from caste based politics to developmental politics. Because this politics itself has changed its nature from vote bank politics to developmental politics. In this particular article only, author has listed many objectives or many activities done by this present government in UP and the central government also, whereas it is focusing on health, education and development and welfare, especially among marginalized sections. So developmental politics is the new strategy of politics here, and that's why this very same politics is erasing the caste consciousness in the society, which is something peculiar to Andre Bataille's observation on caste system. Moreover, this article says Dalit mobilization in Uttar Pradesh is undergoing a big churn. One can easily see how multiplicity is emerging in their political choices. This is the result of various changes taking place in the socio-political and developmental mobility of the community and the constantly changing nature of politics in Uttar Pradesh in recent times. See, we have discussed the same. Nature of politics itself is changing. And this is what Amartya Sen talked about. Better political organization among marginalized. Better political organization is nothing but giving them reservations and ensuring real empowerment. This real empowerment comes through health, education and welfare activities only. That is the better political organization which Amartya Sen has talked about. Also, M.N. Srinivas has said that why these changes are happening, because M.N. Srinivas has said modern education can help erasing caste consciousness. Modern education results in absence of caste feeling or caste consciousness. Now here, politics has changed its nature primarily. This changed nature of politics is focusing on developmental activities. That means health, education, etc. This education will further bring down caste consciousness according to M.N. Srinivas. Consciousness will be brought down and it will lead to better political organization, because now even the underprivileged are educated, so even they can participate in politics. So political organization among the underprivileged will become better. This is Amartya Sen's observation. This is M.N. Srinivas' observation. And this will further change the nature of politics, and this is a virtuous cycle. And it will ultimately lead to more and more development, because this is happening in the continuous process. So this changed nature of politics, we can quote this as an example in our politics and society chapter also. Is ultimately benefiting society, because society is developing. So that's all we have for today. If you like the content, please like, share and subscribe to Statecraft IAS. If you have any comments or criticisms, or if you wish anything to say, please comment and let me know in the comment section. Thank you for listening. Have a nice day.